Basically, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. There. Now you're in your proper spot. And we should be live and people should be seeing us, so hopefully they are. If you're in the chat, let us know. Cool. And this is also going to record video. I'm probably not going to use it. I more so wanted to test that part of it. I've done the recordings of audio, but I haven't done video. So I'm just curious how it does it and what it looks like. And I figured this is a good one to do that on. Because if something does crash, we'll be fine. Versus if it was like Sunday and I've got Tyra. She's never been on my show and everything just falls apart. Move that to where I can read it. Okay, cool. Cool. Well, if you're ready, I'm ready. All right. Yeah, I don't see anybody out there, so it doesn't look like anybody's watching at the moment, but I'm sure people will show up eventually. Given that it's blasted in my promotions channel like 4 times now. Since I have to... Oh, did we get an Amy? Oh, we got an Amy. Hi, Amy. Okay, good. So at least we're on Twitch. And we're live on YouTube. So that's good. So, all right. I am liking this restream for the multi-streaming. It's kind of nice. It just does it. It lets me blast it out to both of them at the same time. Alrighty, well, then I think we just, I'll start the recording and we'll just do our thing. All right. 3, 2, 1. Recording has begun. All right. And welcome into Let's Watch Highlander. This is Let's Watch Highlander, The Raven, Episode 21, War and Peace. And here to talk with you about it, as we always are, I'm Travis, a.k.a. TV's Travis, and that is the Audie Norman. Audie, how are you? Yeah, well, since we last talked, I have been to Las Vegas and back. So we haven't done the show. We haven't recorded in a couple of weeks, but we're winding down. We've only got a couple of episodes left. It's kind of crazy to think about. So we had an episode that felt very Highlander to me. And it did explore some things that I thought were kind of interesting, and I'm curious to get your take on them as well. But we are coming up on the end of it as a show, which is, it's a little bittersweet for us. We're going to get more into that in a couple of episodes, but I think for now, I think we should talk about the episode War and Peace that we just watched. All right. So we open up, we're outside the church. Father Liam and Nick are playing a little 2-on-2 pickup basketball. And a woman comes walking up. Her name's Lizzie Tynan. She knows Liam. She has somewhat of a relationship with him in terms of, like, they at least know each other. She's a journalist. What was it? She was trying to get him to talk about an exorcism. Is that what he said? Yeah. But then Nick wonders where Amanda got off to. And we cut to Amanda in the middle of a sword fight with some dude in an alley. And we find out it's not that far away because we see Lizzie walking along and hearing the commotion. So this is like right around the corner from the church, basically. Because it's only Paris. It's not like it's a huge city or anything. Lizzie happens to see, oh, there's something interesting going on over there, a sword fight between two people. Amanda has the upper hand, but then notices Lizzie pull out a camera and start snapping photos. And that distracts her long enough that her opponent gets the drop on her, stabs her, which Lizzie watches Amanda die. And before the guy can take her head, Lizzie starts screaming. which spooks him, so he runs off. But it also calls the attention of Nick and Liam, who come running over. So again, we're like a block away, which is just funny to me. But they run up and they're like, "Wait, what happened?" And Lizzie's like, "She's dead." And of course, they're ushering her out of there. They want to get her, take care of her, blah blah blah, and get her out of there before Amanda wakes up. But they don't. Yep. Amanda wakes up, and Leah and Lizzie sees it, and then we go to our credits. So, coming out of the credits, we see Nick talking to her, trying to convince her it's some sort of a dinner theater rehearsal that was going on. I love that story. A new kind of dinner theater. And she's like, "Oh, I should call my editor about it." He's like, No. It's not ready yet. Let's not jump the gun. She's not buying it, of course, because it's, on the list of bad lies, this is a pretty bad one. It's a pretty weak one. So then we see him back at the church with Liam and Amanda. And he's kind of giving Amanda the business of like, well, what are you doing fighting this guy? And is there, in 1,200 years, have you ever met anyone that didn't want to kill you? Which I thought was a really good line. And that's when Liam let slip. No, his name is Sean, and he wasn't here for Amanda. He was here for me. So we get a flashback to a British army camp outside of New York in 1776. Liam is joined up with the British during the Revolutionary War in search of adventure, is what he tells Amanda. Because Amanda is, I guess, living in the States with a governor. It wasn't 100% on why she was there or what, but she was very upper class in this situation. Liam is just a lowly private. But he basically joined because he wanted the adventure of war. He wanted to learn about that. So he joins up to get, to squash the revolution and stop the colonials and all that kind of stuff. And he's fighting for his king. I liked Amanda kind of cautioning him, like, look, these farmers and, these people, they're fighting for something. They're going to be tough. Which she would know about by this point. This is roughly 1,000 years into her life, so she would have dealt with this kind of stuff. So then we cut to the next day, and we see this woman going around giving water to a bunch of soldiers. They're colonials. One of them is the guy we saw fighting Amanda in the opening. Sean is his name. And the woman wandering around is Emma, his mother. They've come over from Scotland and to make a new life for themselves. And now Sean is basically fighting for freedom, which also tracks given that he's Scottish. He's going to fight the English at any chance he can. So they have an ambush set up for a patrol of British soldiers. Just happens to be Liam's outfit. And the colonials get the drop on him. Big fight. Pretty decent little action sequence given, again, TV budget and all of that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. During the fight, Liam ends up shooting Sean, and at that moment feels the presence of an immortal and realizes that Sean is an immortal. And this is Sean's first death, is what we're led to believe, because he didn't feel him before that. And so Liam goes over and he takes the pistol that Sean had and tells him basically, you're not going to need this anymore. Swords are going to be more your speed pretty soon, but you'll be fine. And then there's a scream. He turns around and Emma is right there and he shoots her. Basically out of like fear more than anything. He was spooked. But Sean sees this happen. So now Sean has been shot, has no idea what's going on, and then sees his mother get shot by the guy who just shot him. So as Sean's laying there dying, Liam goes over to the mom and is comforting her and basically telling her, look, everything's going to be okay. Your son's going to live. Don't worry. And she is just happy about that, and so forgives him. And he picks her up and carries her off as Sean lays and dies. So back in the present time, Nick and Amanda want to help him, and Liam's like, no, I'm not fighting this guy. I did find it kind of interesting that he's worried at all about Sean. It's like, dude, you live in a church. You're just going to be on holy ground all the time anyway, so what's the matter? But they don't really, I guess. And we do see kind of the subplot or the subplot of this, which is Lizzie and the journalist part. She meets up with a guy, her editor. We find out she's not in the best standing for her job. She fabricated some things. It was the whole, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove argument between her and her editor. And then she tries to sell him on the story of, I watched a woman get killed. And he's like, oh, is she a political figure, an actor, whatever? She's like, no. He goes, well, okay, where's the story? She's like, well, she came back to life. And he's looking at her like, how much have you had to drink today? Let's see, where was I in my notes? So she's trying to do that. She doesn't have any evidence of it. Then we cut back to Liam. Still, he's not going to fight Sean. He made a promise, and he's kept it for 200 years, and he was hoping that Nick would understand this kind of honor and and that sort of thing. And Nick is like, yeah, okay, that's all well and good, but this guy's going to keep trying to kill you, and Amanda's going to keep trying to protect you, and you're just going to let her do that? And he's like, well, right now what I'm going to do is lead mass. So he goes to do that, and in the middle of communion, Sean arrives at the church. So Liam feels his presence. Sean comes up, confronts him, but like not at the same time. It was an interesting moment. Basically kind of a, hey, I'm here and I'll be outside waiting for you. And then takes a communion wafer and leaves. He does. He does. That was the most aggressive communion wafer take I've ever seen. So Liam's a little bit spooked. He's not like, it's interesting, right? Because he's not going to fight Sean, but he's also not super comfortable about all of it. Nick goes outside to confront the guy, finds him sitting there, and is like, "Hey, how you doing?" And Sean's like, "I don't know who you are." And Nick basically lets slip, like, "Yeah, no, I know what you are, though." And that's when the rest of Sean's little gang, a couple more people on bikes, come up. They do a fun little circle of Nick in their bikes, kind of an intimidation thing, and then just drive off. So Lizzie comes to see Liam at the church again, trying to find out information. She's like, look, I know when people are lying to me. I know you're lying to me. But he doesn't offer anything up. He's not going to give anything to her. He tells Nick and Amanda, he goes to them, is like, because we see Amanda doing some martial arts practice in her apartment. And her and Nick are there, and then Liam. Right? Yeah, I got big time Duncan vibes there. Liam shows up and he's like, all right, guys, look, leave it. All right, you stop trying to protect me. You stay the hell out of it. Like, let me deal with this. Because he wants to talk to Sean and try to reason with him. He's not going to fight him. He's steadfast in that. He will not fight him, but he wants to try and reason with him. And Amanda tells him, like, this guy's not going to let this go. And you're not going to be able to reason with him. And then we get some more flashback. And this is where we learn what Liam's promise was and how he became a priest, or at least how he got started down that road. So in the aftermath of that battle, he is distraught because he shot Emma. And he's definitely having the like, ooh, war is not what I thought it was going to be type thing. Do we ever get, I forget if we've learned how old Liam is. Because he was already an immortal. Yeah, he was already immortal by this time. So he's been around for a while. But my guess is this was his first brush with like war of any kind. Important at the time. Yeah. But basically he's praying to God to save the woman's life. To save Emma's life, and he even offers up like, I'll trade my life for hers type thing. And that's when Amanda comes up, and Amanda lets him know, we got the bullet out, she's stable, she's going to pull through, everything's okay. And that was what Liam needed to hear at that moment, with the guilt he's feeling and the remorse and the second guessing of all the, like he even says, this isn't the adventure I thought it was going to be. And he is leaving. He's going home, and he wants nothing else to do with war or his sword. He specifically leaves his sword, which Amanda points out. She's like, aren't you forgetting something? And he says, no, I'm not. And he walks away. So what we learn is his prayer got answered, and because of that, he has dedicated his life to the church. And this is what starts him down the path of becoming Father Liam. So that is why he refuses to fight Sean. He made a promise that he would not fight. He would not shed any more blood. So he won't fight Sean. Turns out that a few days after that, Emma died. She got an infection and passed away. And Amanda was still tending her, brought Sean in, but Sean had to watch his mother die and blames Liam for it. And Amanda kind of never told Liam about that. No. She wanted to protect him. She wanted to keep him from the guilt that he was feeling over all of it. I get it. But best intentions didn't work out. So Liam now learns about this. So now he is reasonably upset. And so Amanda's, now Nick is like, well, what did you think was going to happen? And she's got to figure it out. Meanwhile, Nick is off looking for Sean. Because again, he's going to try and help his friend. So he did notice on their bikes was a symbol. It was a flame with a cross inside of it, or a sword. Sword or a cross. I think either one. And he noticed that, so he's going around to bikers and people trying to find, hey, you ever seen this? You know who this is? He ends up at a biker bar. A girl sitting at the bar starts hitting on him. He notices Sean playing chess, goes over. And I'll tell you, the brass one's on Nick. That guy, just the size of Gibraltar. He does not care. He just walks over, and he's basically in the middle of the bar like, I know you're immortal. I know this guy's immortal. I don't care. Leave Liam alone. And Sean's like, who are you? And why are you here? But all of this leads to Sean telling him, I'm going after Liam anyway. It doesn't matter. And then you take care of him. And Dieter, his buddy, his little cohort, starts a fight. And we get a little mini bar brawl, which is also great because Nick gets to show off a little. And he ends up getting out of there. And he is prepared. So he gets outside. He gets Sean's attention. He is prepared to, like, put bullets into Sean to stop him. And Sean's basically just telling him over and over, like, I'm not stopping. You stay out of it. And before Nick can, and in fact, he's not going to put bullets into Sean. He is threatening to shoot the gas tank of his motorcycle and set everything on fire. Again, Gibraltar. Like, he's got to carry these things around in a shopping cart. But before he can, he gets hit from behind, and we see the girl that was hitting on him at the bar was the third member of the biker gang with Dieter and Sean. And Dieter is ready to kill Nick. He's ready to just take a sword to him. And Sean's like, no, it's not his fault. He's just an idiot. Keep him safe. Keep him away from everything for a day. I'm going after Liam. So let's see. Then we had, okay. So now we cut back to Liam. He's packing up his stuff. He's leaving, bailing on the church. And Amanda's like, oh, okay, so you're just leaving now? And to his credit, like, I mean, Liam is now having a big time crisis because the reason that he laid down his sword and offered his services to the church and is living a life like this is because he thought his prayer got answered and that woman didn't die because of him. So now he's wrestling with that and he can't be there anymore. And Amanda's like, well, okay, what are you going to do? And he won't really say. And she follows him outside and she's like, well, you're going to need this. And she has his sword. He doesn't want it. And she's like, no, you don't get it. Take the sword. And then she pulls her sword. And I did like, because it was a little bit, I'm like, wait a minute, they're still on church ground. And I liked what she said. And I, you know, honestly, I could see this working. It's sort of, the whole don't fight on holy ground thing has always been a little bit fast and loose. But she's like, I'm not going to take your head. I'm just going to show you how long you'll last, how long you'll keep it when you leave here. And they start sparring. She just starts fighting him right there. And Lizzie, because she is just a bad penny and will not go away, shows back up. And she sees them sword fighting. So now she's seeing sword fighting happening again. So she pulls out her camera and starts snapping pictures. So Amanda gets the idea, runs. Basically, Amanda doesn't run. She backflips over to Lizzie. Because why not? Kicks the camera out of her hand and then grabs her. So we've got Nick being held captive by Dieter, and Bryn is her name, at a warehouse or something. He's handcuffed. And Amanda has Lizzie and Liam, and they're in the church. So let's see. Nick ends up getting a bobby pin off of Bryn when she comes over to talk to him. He pulls some smooth moves and gives her a big old smooch and takes a pin off of her hair that she doesn't notice. It was all a ruse just to get that so he can get out of his handcuffs. Right. I'm sorry. If your job is to detain and hold this person, don't set him in a room and then go in the other room to drink your beer. Just drink it within eyesight. And meanwhile, Amanda is trying to convince Liam, and she's actually it's clever what she does here, right? She is using, because she knows Liam is a good man, but he's having his crisis of faith right now. And in fact, the thing he said was, what was the line he said? Everything was built on a lie. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's a good one. And, he's questioning being a priest anymore because of everything that's gone down and what Amanda's revealed to him. But she knows that he's still, that's who he is. So she's basically playing good cop, bad cop, and being the bad cop with him right now and being like, well, we just have to kill Lizzie because she's just going to tell people about what's going on here. We can't let that happen. And, just goad him into admitting that it still does matter to him. But he has to like say it out loud and kind of realize it himself. She gets that out of him. We know Amanda had no intention of killing Lizzie. But she got the result she wanted. Well, then Sean shows up. And he's basically convinced her, like, look, I've got to go do this. I have to go confront him. You need to stay out of it. So he goes out to take on Sean, and he's going to talk to him, and he's going to let Sean do whatever Sean is going to do. But he's not going to fight him, and he's going to confront him. So it goes out there. Nick shows up. Liam talks him off the ledge, like, no, leave it alone, Nick. Amanda comes out. He's like, you're going to leave it alone too, and don't avenge me. That was the other thing. He was very important for Liam was. That was the other good line. If you avenge my death, then my life meant nothing. which I thought was pretty powerful. So Amanda's agreed, okay, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to retaliate. And he basically offers himself up to Sean. He's like, and Sean wants to fight, right? Like Sean is just full of anger, and he wants the revenge, and he wants the satisfaction of defeating Liam. That's what he's looking for. Because Nick has tried to convince him earlier in the episode, nothing is going to fill that void. But he's too close to it, and Sean just, he can't see it, which I understand. And then Liam says to Sean, I forgive you. Which is the callback to, and Sean didn't see this, but Emma forgave Liam on the battlefield 200 years ago because he told her that her son would live. And that was a pretty powerful moment because Sean's like, what gives you the right to forgive me? And he goes, well, the same, it's because, your mother forgave me all those years ago for you. And that's when Dieter and Bryn show up on their bikes. So now we've got 3 standoffs because we've got Sean standing over Liam. Dieter just wants to fight Nick. Like, Dieter just wants a scrap with Nick. And Bryn and Amanda are squared off. But Sean has a change of heart, decides that he's not going to go through with it, tosses a sword down and is like, let's leave. Because he's not going to get what he wants out of this. And it's not worth it. So they leave. And now you've got the other 3. You've got Nick, Amanda, and Liam with Lizzie looking on. She's seen all of this. And we cut to a commercial. We come back and Lizzie walks into the room. We got the 3 of them are sitting around laughing and drinking some wine. And Lizzie comes in and says, well, I just called my editor and told him that I had a psychotic episode and that the whole story was made up. And I did Nick's like, did he buy it? And she goes, oh yeah. Yeah, he even sent me a psychiatrist to go see. Like a recommendation. So everybody ends happy. That's the episode. I have thoughts. I think you do as well. All right. So yeah, I mean, that's a pretty decent Highlander episode. I think it dealt with a few common themes in Highlander and stuff like that. But overall, what did you think of it? I know. I thought it was cool. Obviously we like Liam, so it was nice having him incorporated into it. But it had those immortality, morality themes that Highlander, when it does it well, really works. And will sound a little bit like a broken record here, but this is one that they could have even explored more. It could have been longer. To just dive into it more. But what I liked was, I mean, you've got the idea of immortality and mortality. And Liam gets into the Revolutionary War just because he just wants the adventure of it. He thinks it'd be fun, which is itself, I mean, that itself is a theme that can get explored. Warfare isn't the adventure and the great thing that everyone thinks it is, right? It's Full Metal Jacket is what we got there. It's that kind of a story thing where it's be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. But then Liam wrestling with because you see it in him, almost the moment he shoots Sean and feels him as an immortal, in that moment you see his whole demeanor change because he realizes what's happened. And then turning around shooting Emma out of instinct because she spooked him, and then you see it again, you see another change, and he realizes none of this is what I want. So he thought it was going to be, glory for his king and all that kind of stuff, and he's finding out no, it's just a lot of not good stuff. So I thought that was pretty compelling. And then the second half of that flashback to learn this is what made Father Liam come to the church. was also another one of those where it's like, okay, that's a cool way to, give us more backstory on him now and how he became Father Liam. Um, and because like that was always there in him, uh, like that character, but for him that was the catalyst for it, and I thought that was kind of cool to see because like we never got that with Darius. Um, we heard about it. We heard the story, but we never got to actually see it. And so this is sort of getting a little bit of that payoff, but through a different character. Um, so I thought that was kind of neat. And then you add in the extra wrinkle of like, oh, but then all of that was somewhat false pretenses because of what happened a few days later that Amanda never told him about. Which is both rough, but also like kind of like it's at that point it's only partially his fault. Like yes, he did shoot her and he did cause the injury that got infected, but everything was done that could be done and the infection happened. So sort of is, sort of isn't his fault, but he's got to wrestle with that and he's already feeling guilty about it. And then, the whole idea of like, well, my prayers weren't answered. Because that was the other line I liked from him, which was, I did all of this because I thought God answered my prayer, but now I'm finding out that he didn't. That's not faith, that's vanity. So I thought that was kind of neat, as something to explore. I mean, Sean doesn't get to do a whole lot in this. He's more or less a foil, but at the same time, because it's a very simple motivation, it's something that we can get behind. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This again, I think in a 2-part episode, we could explore that more because we could spend more time with Sean at that point. And we could learn more about, because what's he been doing for 200 years? Why has it taken him 200 years to come after Liam? It can't have been that hard to find, but maybe he was, we don't know. How did he find Dieter and Bryn? That's kind of stuff that could have gotten explored. Like all of that is stuff that if you're not doing a single 46-minute episode, you can explore more. Here we don't get that. But at the same time, for me, that is good quality of writing. Because we're thinking about more than just what's on the page and just what's in the screen. So it's like, instead of it being a slow moving or filler episode or something like that, we're just like, no, we just want more. We want to explore more about it and learn more about these things. So that works for me. Oh yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. And there again, that's another subplot that in a longer form or multi-episode arc, they could play around with that B plot a little bit more of her. Because my problem with Lizzie in this episode is she's not as annoying as Randy, from the first season of Highlander, but we just met her at the beginning of this episode. And so when it's at the end of the episode and she's like, oh, I told my editor, whatever, like we needed her more ahead of this to then kind of pay that off. So it's sort of like Sean didn't get enough and Lizzie doesn't get enough, but we can dismiss it a little bit because it is a B plot and it's not essential. But then at the same time, why have it there? Like, Right. This is true. It is done better. Hmm. Yeah. I mean, you could cut that character out almost completely, and like there's nothing about Lizzie as a character. Now, if they were thinking, "Oh, well, we'll plant this seed now and then we've got this we can call back to later if we get picked up for another season," there's some of that in there too, right? Like we don't have more show to be like, "Oh, well, they started," because then we could be talking about this in like a season 2 or 3 is, "Yeah, I remember when she got introduced and all of that." But unfortunately, we know that's not going to happen. So here we just get it in a single episode, and it's a little undercooked, and that happens from time to time. But you're right. I agree with you. It's handled better than some other characters have been previously. So you know, yeah, yeah, because I think what it does is it takes away from the emotional weight of what Liam was going through in Act 3 to then just have him like laughing with them at the end. Like he should still, while he should be like, no, okay, I am a good person, and yes, the last 200 years haven't been wasted, but I'm still a little annoyed that I got lied to, and like I'm not sure. Yes, instead of just, oh, we're back to the status quo. That happens with TV. So, you know, like you said, nitpick. It really is. That doesn't kill the episode by any stretch, but it is something that I noticed as well. Um, but I mean, an episode with Father Liam is always a better episode, and the relationship with him and Nick, like Nick again, he's being Nick, and he's sort of understanding what's going on, but at the same time, like, but why are you doing this? Because it's kind of dumb. Like, just fight the guy. Right. At one point where he's like, look, I'm not going to give up, and Amanda's not going to give up. So you need to figure this out. And again, I just, it's the broken record thing, but two-parter on this would have probably served it better. Um, but having said that, still a really good episode. Uh, it's just a bummer that we're right at the end and we know, unfortunately, we're not going to get more because they just took too long to figure it out, is really what it comes down to. But, that'll happen from time to time. So what can you do? You can't do much of anything. You just got to deal with it. Um, but yeah, that is that is War and Peace, episode 21. You know what that means? It means we have one more episode of The Raven. We are going to have episode 22 next time. And this one is also one of the top rated episodes. It's called Dead on Arrival. A woman asks for Nick's help in finding her missing brother, a private investigator who specializes in computer crimes. Upon further investigation, Nick finds that the PI was investigating Evan Payton, an immortal who stole millions of dollars from a bank by using his computer wizardry, as opposed to the actual wizardry that Amanda knows him for. Interesting. Okay. That will be episode 22, Dead on Arrival. That is what's happening next time. Now, we typically record this show. If you want to come hang out with us live while we record it and kind of see how it's made, you can do that one more time. Actually, two more, because we're going to do a wrap-up. We record that Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/tvstravis, also at youtube.com/@tvstravis if you want to hang out with Audie and I and check that out. And then the show comes out as a podcast anywhere you can get your podcasts. Just search Let's Watch Highlander and look for the awesome artwork from Audie. I am on all of the social medias as TV's Travis. I love talking Highlander stuff. I brought back from Las Vegas I am officially a watcher now. I have my watcher tattoo right here because we observe and record, but we never interfere. It's slowly healing, but it's healing. So that was fun. And I did get to hang out with Bill Duran while I was out there and geek out about Highlander for a little bit. That was fun. Talking to him about the Highlander lightsaber that he made a couple years back, and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, I'm on all the social medias as TV's Travis, and I love to talk Highlander or anything else like that. Audie, you're out there as excellent. Yeah, we love to talk about all this kind of stuff, and we've only got a couple episodes of this show left, but you're not done. You're not done hearing us talk. That's for sure. We also do a show together called Those Were the Days. If you like us talking about old TV shows, we do it more with our friends Amy and Steven. We record that Monday nights over at twitch.tv/twodorkstv. And then it comes out as a podcast during the week. We are in the middle of the worst of the best. And that has been something else. That X-Files episode, whoo boy. And you can check out twodorks.net/Discord to find everything about that show, including the poll that we run once a month to help us choose a new topic. So check that out. That's a lot of fun. I love doing that. I love hanging out with you guys and chatting. And Audie and I are also going to be working on a follow-up for this show. So stay tuned for more info on that as well. But for now, we're going to end this one and just let you know that we'll be back next time with episode 22, Dead on Arrival. And until then, just remember, don't try to shoot the gas tank of a motorcycle. Perfect. All right. We have stuff. Cool. All right, so it's up. So it's uploading. So yours will be uploaded and finished off here soon. Your audio's uploaded, so we're good there. All right, I'm digging Zencastr. This is handy. I did tell Steven if he ever wants to use it, I can hook him up with that because I have basically unlimited recording with the paid tier. So if it makes it easier than all of us recording separate, that is the nice thing, is then you don't have to manage a recording over there and have to send it. It's just here. And the video file is done too. So cool. I'm gonna play around with that just to see. It pixelated you just a little bit in the stream, but I think it's because it focuses on it. It does, like the audio, it does a local recording and then uploads it. So I'm sure it's gonna look fine. But yeah, this seemed to work out pretty well. Makes it easier for you too, because then you don't have to open up another thing. You can just head to the link and record. Awesome. All right, stream. Well, thanks, Amy, for being here with us, and anyone else that happened by. We appreciate you. And we will be back next week with the final episode. So come back for that. Until then, everybody be good. And remember, there can be only one. Bye.